Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of my Hartford Whalers franchise mode series here on NHL 18. And needless to say, this is going to be a very important episode. Now, we had the decision, just the general decision of how to approach this fork in the road moment, and then, of course, the individual decisions on whether or not we try to sign a David Pastrnak and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Mitch Marner, Artemi Panarin, and even some other relatively solid players that could certainly help out our team. Now, you guys, there was great feedback, great arguments for many different approaches to what we're doing here. And one of the big things one of the recurring comments seemed to be, sign OEL, sign Panarin, but don't go after Pastrnak or Marner because, of course, we would have to give up decent draft picks in the next year's draft to do it. Now, of course, the question is, are we going to get somebody better than David Pastrnak in that draft? Are we going to get somebody better than Mitch Marner in that draft? And it's so tough to say. Because there is a decent chance, even if we sign just OEL and Panarin, that we end up with a top 5 pick. But what are the odds that top 5 pick is better than David Pastrnak? I just don't know. So even as I've started this episode, because I had no choice but to begin this episode, because otherwise I would still just be sitting here regardless, trying to figure out just what the hell I wanted to do. And flat out, I still don't have a set-in-stone approach. We have sent out contract offers. Of course, this goaltender, Vyacheslav Mikheyev, would be an incredible addition to our team. Not to mention other prospects, Vorobiev, Boyer, and Bodens. I'm going to go with Bodens as the other potential prospect signing. But the big question is, what do we do with the big guns in this free agent class, essentially? That is the question. As it is, I'm going to have to move out some players, too, because the team is going to change a lot, even if we don't sign anybody, especially down in the AHL. It's going to change a lot. So before I do anything else, I am going to have to move out a goaltender, because if we sign Mikheyev, he needs to play in the AHL immediately. Not to mention, we have someone like Kovalev and, is it Yanni Allen or Janie Allen? I'm going to go with Yanni Allen. So we're going to have 3 really good goaltenders, which means Marmanland, Vevalainen, and Felix Sandstrom all need to go. We can keep Malcolm Subban as the backup. That's fine. Clearly, that's all he's ever going to be, is a backup-level goaltender, and I'm fine with that because we do have Joonas Korpisalo. So even just from the goaltending perspective, it's going to change. And of course, that's if we're able to sign Mikheyev. So I think, then again, actually, we're going to want these 2 to be our goalies to begin with. One of them would be the backup otherwise. So these 3, they've got to go regardless, which is crazy, as we do have, of course, 3 decent prospects there. I'm going to see if I can send them to Arizona. Actually, wow, that worked out perfectly, because Arizona, they are struggling right now for goaltending. So they look like the place, the ultimate destination for our 3 goaltenders here. Will that go through? A second and a third rounder? No, it won't, but it's close to fair value. So you know what? I'm actually going to throw in, say, a 5th round pick. Let's go for Washington's 5th round pick, not our own. Or Tampa. That works too. Will that go through? Yes, it will. So there we go. We've already cleared out a couple of contract spots, which is great. And we've made a spot. We've opened up a spot for that potential prospect goalie, Mikheyev, if he signs with us. Aside from that, I don't really have anything else I can do to stall for time until I make a decision. Oh my God. I've had a day to think about this, and I still don't know. I still don't. I think at the very least, it would be worth going after a Pastrnak, or not a Pastrnak, but an OEL. You know, not giving up the draft picks would be nice. At the very least, I was surprised as the overall feeling from the comment section was absolutely sign players. Don't hold back. Don't build just through the draft. If you have a chance to sign these players, do it. And admittedly, I was a little bit surprised by that. Because typically, with a series like this where I say, like, hey, we are rebuilding, a lot of times the comment section will then just be like, okay, nope, no signing anybody. So I am pretty surprised. Let me take one more look at what we're looking at defensively. So as far as who we have right now, we have Brodin, Gabriel Carlsson, Pulock, Polka, Nestorov, Pelech as our top 6. Now, there is a chance Olofsson could progress enough to make it to the NHL level. Maybe not Liljegren as well. Nestorov, I mean, he's 26. He's a top 6 defenseman now. I mean, stat-wise, he's decent. He's a decent offensive defenseman. But when you're talking about potentially replacing him with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I think we have to. And Adam Pelech could go too. Pelech? I think it's Pelech. And then, oh my God, for the forwards, I mean, it's obvious. There's a spot. There is a spot for somebody like an Artemi Panarin and even a Jeff Skinner. But how many players do we want to add? Will it improve our team too much and ruin our chances for a top 3 pick, a top 5 pick? Can we trade them at the deadline if we choose to do so? All right, let's do this. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, there is no guarantee that he will accept. He wants a 3-year deal. I'm going to offer him, again, we have cap space to work with. Like, that's the thing. I want to make sure he signs, but also you don't want to sign him for too much because then that makes him a little bit more difficult to get rid of. So I'm going to offer 6.75 over 3 seasons. Arizona and Colorado are also in for him. And we'll see what happens. Again, I could bump that up a little bit more, but when you talk about the easier picks to acquire, it's going to be from contenders, and they're going to have a lot less cap space. So let's go in for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. 6.75 works for me. We could also go for a Ryan Ellis or a Jake Gardiner. Strawman, Forbort, Edler, and Markov are still top 4. Actually, there's still a lot of top 4 defensemen. So we could go in for a Ryan Ellis or a Jake Gardiner, but for the moment, we'll settle with OEL. Let's only go for the big guns, the big targets right now. Because as it is, I don't want to have to move more people. We already sent out 5 contract offers. So forward-wise, Pastrnak and Marner, they're pretty much the same. I mean, as far as, I'd say, potential goes, Pastrnak has the slightly better shot right now. He's a better skater. Marner, arguably, just slightly better with the puck. Pastrnak is slightly better defensively and has an extra half-star physical category. Again, for either player, it's a first, second, and third. I mean, we might be able to bump it down a little bit so that they'll still accept, but oh God, giving up a first, second, and third is so risky in this upcoming draft. But again, to get a player of their caliber, my thought is it might be worth signing David Pastrnak, although Marner might be the better option just because he could play center too if we needed him to. But if we sign Pastrnak, we could then flip an Artemi Panarin at the deadline to get a first back. But I know a lot of people are going to be saying, but wouldn't you rather have your own first? You're probably going to have better odds. Fair point. That's the trouble we're having here. I think at the very least we are going to send an offer to Artemi Panarin. Now he wants 6 years at 6.4. I'm going to go up to 6.5 because, again, with that amount of term, even though he's a great player, he's going to be difficult to trade. We'll see if he accepts. Now, as far as Pastrnak and Marner go, the only teams interested in them are Boston and Toronto, so we don't really have to worry about it. The question is, do I want to go after a Wayne Simmons, a Blake Wheeler, a Jeff Skinner at this point in time? And Wayne Simmons, obviously a well-rounded player, but not quite the ideal first liner. I'd rather use him as a second liner, just because of how well-rounded he is. Blake Wheeler, a little bit better offensively, I'd say. Has the physical category on his side as well. And then, of course, you have Jeff Skinner, who could also be a very useful asset to this team. Marcus Johansson, Matt Duchene. Now, nobody's in for Wheeler and Skinner just yet. So I'm going to hold off for now. We've sent out offers to Panarin and Oliver Ekman-Larsson to start, as well as those prospects. And we'll see who we hear back from starting off. Now, unfortunately, the prospects didn't get back to me yet, which I was hoping that they would. So let's take a look. 2 offers for Wheeler. Still no offers for Skinner, Pastrnak, and Marner. That situation hasn't changed. So for Blake Wheeler, it'd be probably bumping that up to 6.5, but at 32 years old, 6 years, 32 years old, there's no way. There's no way. That would be a really difficult contract to trade, I think, because of those extra years. And then with Jeff Skinner, 3 years at 6.1. All right, so right now, the only players we're really keeping an eye out on are the only player in general. I think it's going to be Jeff Skinner. I don't think we're going to go after Ryan Ellis. So Pastrnak and Marner, we're keeping an eye out on them. We're keeping an eye on Jeff Skinner as well. But in the meantime, we wait to hear back from Panarin and Ekman-Larsson. Bodens has accepted. Boyer has accepted. Vorobiev has accepted. What about Mikanov? Yes, we just added a medium elite goalie in Mikanov. That is huge for us. All 4 prospects accepted. That is incredible for us. Now we just need to hear back. Still no offers in for Jeff Skinner, which is really good news for us. People are battling over Wayne Simmons and Blake Wheeler. That's fine by me. But 5 teams are in on Artemi Panarin. So it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. Let's see here. Will we hear back? Not yet. All right. This should be the day. OEL, Artemi Panarin, what's going to happen? Panarin has accepted. Ekman-Larsson rejects and goes back to Arizona, even though I offered him more money than what the Yotes were offering him. All right. So at the very least, Artemi Panarin has signed. Unfortunately for me, someone like a Ryan Ellis has gone. Strawman is now the best defensive option. But I don't think I'm going to go after anybody on defense. It might just be worth adding only Panarin and then trading him at the deadline and using him to get an extra pick. It's a little bit cheap, but again, there was no guarantee he was going to sign. OEL didn't sign. So I think we're good. Defensively, no doubt we can make improvements. I'm still wondering maybe about Matt Benning. Would he be worth adding instead of having Pelech or Nesterov? I like Nesterov, but maybe he'd be a decent improvement on Pelech. I mean, there's really nobody else. Yeah, I could sign, one of these guys. I mean, forward, it's a restricted free agent. Benning would be an interesting signing. And then Paul Ledoux is a 78 at 26 years old. So I'm going to double check our defense. We're still going to keep an eye out on Pastrnak and Marner. And for those who are saying, trade for them, the value doesn't work out. It'd just be cheaper to sign them. So Skinner, Johansson, Duchene are still there without offers, mind you, which is a little bit surprising. But we have added all of those prospects and Artemi Panarin, who, again, you're going to get a look at his value here. We're going to be able to flip him. No doubt. No doubt about it. I mean, granted, we could keep him. I mean, he's an elite sniper in this league. We don't necessarily have to flip him. But that's probably what we're going to use him for, if we're honest. And then again, on defense, that's what I wanted to check, whether or not I should sign Benning. So again, we have Nesterov. He's decent. Pelech is decent defensive D-man. Oh boy, Oliver Ekman-Larsson would have looked really nice on this team. I mean, offensively, aside from Jonas Brodin, Nesterov would be the best offensive defenseman that we have. So Benning would replace Pelech. Benning is a year older. 1 overall point better? So I guess Pelech's going to stay because he could improve over the offseason. Not to mention, we could even see someone like Liljegren improve. So the question is now, Skinner Pastrnak or Marner. And to be honest, I think we should probably just... God damn it. Is there going to be a player better than David Pastrnak that we could possibly get in this draft? Even if they're medium elite, 81 overall at 17 years old. Are they going to be better than a 90 overall player who could play on Nolan Patrick's wing for the next decade? I mean, obviously you have Dadonov there as well. You know, coming up to the system, we just drafted Bulis. You have guys like Eggenberger, Beckett, Jones, Radish that are going to be fighting for top 6 spots in the future. Then you even have players like Arthur Sereda, who's going to have to be signed. He was a hell of a steal in the 6th round. I could easily... So let's see, the top 6 again. I'm sorry, guys, but I want to make sure we do the right thing here. So the top 6 would be Patrick, Panarin, Burakovsky, probably Sprong, could be Dadonov. So there's room for 1 or 2 more players here in the top 6. Because we could have Dadonov on the 3rd line. DeBrusk will probably be on the 3rd line this year. Which means we might be seeing the end of Connor Brown. DeBrusk, yeah, he can kind of sort of play center. Again, Dadonov is signed to that contract. And again, I have to... Some people seem to not understand this early on in the series. I have to sign players to deals like that because if you're under the cap floor, I can't fix the roster to call up and send down certain players. It's the only reason why I do it. Is because I don't have the space to be able to, you know, set up the team the way I want it. So it wasn't a matter of like, oh, I want to make sure he signs with us. I'm going to offer him $11 million. It wasn't that. But it was also people wanted me to get Artemi Panarin because he's a legend in NHL. Thanks to 2BC. Right, we're going to have to make so many changes here too. And yes, I did notice that we're up to 48 spots. So if I wanted to sign Pastrnak and Jeff Skinner, I would have to trade somebody now. Again, offensively, you look at Skinner's abilities, slightly better than Adam. Adam Henrique's actually half decent. I'm not saying that I was like, oh, I'm shocked, but offensively, he's a bit better rated and closer to Jeff Skinner than I would have thought. Spezza's still really good, all things considered. Duchesne probably deserves a bit of a bump in offensive ability. Man. That's the thing, though. It's like, do I want to... If I send an offer to Jeff Skinner, he's going to sign. And then I'm going to flip him for a draft pick. And to be honest, that feels a little bit cheap. Going after OEL and Panarin, though, didn't because other teams were in on those deals. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sim to the start of the preseason. And we're going to see if Pastrnak and Marner are still there. If they are, then that opens up a really interesting situation because I'll be able to sit there and take a look at the team, see how players progressed, and then figure out for sure if we want to sign them. So, you might disagree with that approach. You might disagree with me not signing a Jeff Skinner, an Adam Henrique, and Matt Duchesne, and I completely understand that. But there are so many different ways to approach this, and it's not a matter of me, trying to, I'm trying to, please the people who want to see the series run this way, but also the people who want to see the series run this way. Bottom line is, the only thing I can do is run the series the way I want to run it. And that's all I'm doing. It just signed the goalie for me down in the AHL. But you know what? A goalie's fine. When it signs forwards, that's when it becomes a problem. So that's not a big deal. Best lines really won't be affected. But I'm still running the series the way I want to run it. I just genuinely don't know if I want to give up a first-round pick, a first, second, and third for Pastrnak. But again, then there's that decision-making or that, that choice you have to make is, are you going to get somebody better than what Pastrnak is right now with that pick? But really quickly, and I know people probably wanted to see where certain players signed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to look at that now, and I'm sorry. I just get tunnel vision on our team. A couple of signings. Folin to Dallas. Grabowski back to Toronto. There you go. Chuck Kobasu back to Boston. Anything else crazy? Not really. Ryan Reeves to St. Louis. Back to St. Louis. Jeremy Gregor somehow gets a contract. Yeah, so nothing too crazy. These signings were in August, so these wouldn't have been the big time signings. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? I'm sorry. Again, I just get such tunnel vision on our team. How far back can I go at this point? All right, well, there you go. I get just extreme tunnel vision. The only thing I care about is our team. I don't really care what other teams look like. Now, Pastrnak is still an RFA because I did just see on the news feed that the Bruins have him on the block. So both Pastrnak and Marner are still there, which is good. So that decision is still there. Jeff Skinner ended up signing, which is fine. And again, you could argue I should have made a play for either of those guys. Charlie Hudon's there, but he's 25 at this point. Didn't quite get the same treatment he has with me in my Montreal series. So really the only question is Pastrnak or Marner. It's still there. But let's take a look at this team and what player progression we've seen. Now, we are still listed as rebuilders despite the addition of Panarin. The goaltending, and I was wrong about Malcolm Subban. He bounced back to an 82. Korpisalo is an 86. So the goaltending is looking great, and I forgot to sign another goalie. That was a really dumb mistake after Mikanov ended up signing. I just, again, completely forgot because I got focused on other players, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We'll be fine. So I think I should be able to sign both goalies, and they will be our 5. So we have Allen, and can I sign Kovalev as well? Yes, I can. Okay, so we're up to 50 contracts. The goaltending is set. Obviously, Mikanov will be the starter, and of course the other 2 will be there. We'll have a 5th string goalie, one of the starters, whoever's the lower overall, will be the 5th string goalie in case of injury. So that's looking good. That's looking promising. But what we need to double check right now is certain player progression. And we also have unsigned players that need to be signed. So again, the goaltending is set. Allen will be the backup. Kovalev will be the depth goaltender. As far as our defense goes, Nesterov actually improved. Liljegren's up to a 75. Olofsson didn't improve, which probably means the end of his tenure here. So, I mean, defensively, again, it's still not great. Even the addition of Oliver Ekman-Larsson wouldn't have helped too much. I would have had to sign a lot of players. So, that's looking all right. And then forward-wise, Sprong's up to an 83. I mean, we do have some players here as well that need to be sent down. So, yeah, I'm going to have to make some decisions here because even in the system, you have someone like Kurdiles. You have someone like Max Jones, who's now listed as a 4th-line player. Kosarenkov should get time. He's a depth player now. He needs to be on at least the 4th line. Which is weird, though. I mean, because he's really fast. Like, my God. But as a sniper, the shot's not quite there yet. The puck skills aren't there. The offensive awareness is, though. So he's going to be a really interesting player to watch this year. But, again, as far as the defense goes... because, again, we have players to sign. And here, you know what? Get ready for your favorite sound that you always hear in the background. It's paper time. It's paper time because we are going to need to write up a depth chart. Now, I'm going to warn you, this might get boring as we try to figure out this team, and I'm sorry. But damn it, at least you know I care. You get to see the full process and know that I just don't decide like, okay, well, fuck this guy. Hell no. We look at everything, man. We take this somewhat seriously. Somewhat. So, unsigned players include Bodine. Now, he's 19 years old. He's a Canadian. So, as much as I'd love to sign him, he's not AHL eligible, which means we'd have to play him at the NHL level. That's not happening. Edmonds is low top 6. He's not really a priority. I don't know if we'll ever sign him. Yuri Khudobin, though, needs to be signed and is AHL eligible. So let's see, who else do we have here? So, in the AHL, there's no doubt we will have Liljegren, if this pen wants to work. Okay, good. We'll have Liljegren. The only other guy who's safe right now is Juuso Valimaki. Good old Juuso was safe, Calgary Flames pick. Crosby, Phil Crosby, low top 4. We'll say he's safe as well. I mean, you could argue he's a bit of a fringe player, but he could even be a depth guy if we needed him to be. McIntyre is definitely safe. Bodine can't be signed, so Yuri Khudobin is mid-4. Jet Wu is mid-4, but he played in the CHL, so he's not eligible. Boyer is medium 6. He is already under contract, so we'll include Boyer. And we'll just assume that we sign Yuri Khudobin. So now we only have room for 2 more defensemen. Vishnevsky is signed. We got him as a free agent. So now there's only room for 1 more defenseman in the AHL. And that's got to be Ekholm. Obviously, it's got to be Ekholm. That's the one guy we need to sign. We should have signed him previously. So those will be our 8 defensemen. Which means on the way out is going to be Olofsson, Trevor Carrick, which is unfortunate. Johansson, 72 overall, 22 years old. That's not bad, but he has to go. He's been replaced on the depth chart, and then from there we're good to go. So again, we have our 6 defensemen and 2 depth defensemen in case of injury. So that's looking good because there's no one there. I mean, you could argue maybe Liljegren should get the shot at the NHL level, but I think the defense is going to stay the same. I mean, for now, Nestorov, like I mentioned, he's not a bad offensive defenseman. And Pelech, you could argue maybe it's time to cut ties with Adam Pelech and sign a better defenseman. And we could definitely do that. And arguably we should do that because of the cap space situation. To be honest, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to let go of Adam Pelech. I wanted to give him a chance to improve. He didn't. We gave him the benefit of the doubt. That didn't happen. Pulock, Polka, Carlson, and Brodin are safe. So we have 4 defensemen we need to get rid of right now. So let's figure that out. And then, like I said, we're going to sign somebody from the free agent list. If we ended up with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, it wouldn't be a question, and it would have already been sorted out. But we'll figure that out in a moment. In the meantime, let's go ahead and make these trades. Hopefully, there are teams that we can send these guys to. Now, of course, someone like Carrick, we gave quite a few opportunities to make it. And as far as these unsigned players, these draft picks that didn't pan out, the obvious thing to do is just trade them for whatever the hell I can get them for. Again, I just don't feel like doing that. That extra 6th or 7th rounder, could we get a steal with it? Sure. I don't know. Let me know what you think in regards to that. Should I just, trade these guys for whatever, or hope that maybe they're potential upgrades in that, maybe possibly they turn out to be decent, at least worthy enough to sign? Let me know what you think. Basically, that question comes down to pick hoarding, yay or nay. But Olofsson, Pelech, Johansson, and Carrick were the guys. Carrick actually managed to avoid being selected despite me looking right at his name. So those were the 4 that need to go. Now, technically we're in the Western Conference. Can I send them somewhere to the East? Hopefully with a team that doesn't have cap space at the moment. Detroit, that doesn't really work. Or to a team that does have cap space, I should say. Vegas doesn't work. Okay, so we'll try it this way. Maybe we can send them out to Washington. I guess this technically qualifies as pick hoarding too, if you want to be specific about it. Can I get a 2nd rounder for all that? Good. I'm glad that I can't. Can I get a 3rd rounder for all of that? I'm going to be really glad if I can't. I can. Okay, well. A 3rd rounder isn't bad. I mean, Johansson's pretty much the guy that makes that deal. Can I get a 3rd and a 6th? Or is that too much? I'm kind of hoping that's too much. It's not. Okay, well, what about a 3rd and a 5th round pick next year? You got to figure I'm doing them a favor, too, because this helps, boost up the Hershey Bears a little bit. How about a 3rd and a 4th? Is that too much? It is. Okay, so 3rd, 7th this year, and a 5th next year? What do you say? I'm good with that. All right, so those 4 are out of here. They are out of here, which means we get to go and, first off, we get to sign Yuri Khudobin and Ekholm to deals. And then we get to look for a free agent defenseman to take Pelech's spot. Doesn't necessarily have to be on the third pairing. It can be wherever. And we'll probably sign him to a boatload of money and keep him for the season. But again, Yuri Khudobin needs to be signed, as does Ekholm. Those were the only two, if I'm not mistaken. Mistaken? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, so we're good. We're good. You could argue I should sign the low top fours. You might not be wrong. I believe, yeah, both are eligible. But because we did just sign the likes of Boyer and Vishnevsky, that kind of takes away from their spots for the moment. So they shall be staying. Let me go double check here. Who's available for defensemen? Now, whoever we sign here is going to be on the team, much like an Evgeny Dadonov, for the entire season. So we're not going to be looking to trade them. Obviously, it'll be impossible to trade their contract. So I could go with Simone Dupre. He is the best option overall wise. Is his durability down like it should be? Yeah, 75 durability. I don't really want to deal with him getting hurt. You got Petrovic, Morrow, Wotherspoon. Petrovic, Morrow, and Wotherspoon. Again, I wouldn't mind signing Simone Dupre, but I don't want to deal with the fact that he could be injured like all season long. So it's got to be one of these guys. Petrovic, not terrible. Morrow, not really terrible either. And Wotherspoon. Right. You know what? I'm going to go for the former Bruin, I think. I'm going to give Joe Morrow one hell of a contract to be a Hartford Whaler for one season. And then again, this way, because right now, with how low the cap is, I'm not going to be able to call up and send down players like I want. Remember, I have to do this. And, it's not like I'm luring away this incredible player for 1 year. It's Joe Morrow. He's going to be a third-pairing defenseman for us, so it's fine. It's fine. So that is the defense sorted. We need to figure out what we want to do offensively, and then, as you can pretty much tell, the decision's going to be what do we do with David Pastrnak or Mitch Marner. And I'd probably say sign Pastrnak, although, like I mentioned, Marner could be useful because he could also play center. But let's take a look here. As far as who is a lock to be on this team, we have Artemi Panarin for the top line. We have Nolan Patrick as well. Right, Burakovsky is definitely here. He's not going anywhere. Although you could argue we could trade him because he hasn't really improved. Dadonov, of course, is not going anywhere for the moment. Daniel Sprong needs to be on at least the third line, which isn't a big deal. You have Tierney. Okay, and here's where it starts to get a little bit difficult. Now, as far as who's on the third line for sure, or at least in the top six, DeBrusk we'll have listed there for sure. He is in the top 9. Who else do we have that's potentially listed as a third line guy? Kosarenkov, again, could play on the fourth line, could be third line worthy. Right now we need to figure out the third line. We need to figure out that third line. So we'll say, oh God, what do we want to do here? Especially too if you got to factor in David Pastrnak, potentially. So you got Dadonov, you got Sprong. So right now it's Tierney, Shore, Lawton, and Brown that we need to decide between. So I'm going to say Kosarenkov is getting the chance on the third line. He is there, which leaves 2 spots. That leaves 2 spots. Potentially 1. So we need to find the one player who I absolutely want on that line. And again, like Riley Barber, I don't exactly want to give up on, but let's be honest, I have to. As far as the fourth line goes, too, Max Jones is a guarantee. He's a guarantee. Then you have Poirier, Soshnikov, and Tyler Bertuzzi. So we also got to figure that out. Not to say I couldn't play one of these third line guys on the fourth line. I could, if I use PK time properly. So you got Tierney, you got Shore. Now Tierney is better than Shore, although Shore could be used on the fourth line. Scott Laughton. For a third line guy, physical player, decent offensively, but defensively, I think it's not there. It's not there, and I just went to itch. But yeah, with Laughton, it's just not quite there. It's not quite there compared to even Chris Tierney, and that's what we want for a third line guy. So Scott Laughton is on his way out. Can I even send him down? No, see, we don't have the cap space. So Laughton's on his way out. So I could have Tierney, I could have Shore as another option there. Connor Brown could stick around. So to be honest, what it might come down to, let's just say I go with Tierney. We have Shore as the fourth line center. I'll put Brown as a third liner, which would mean, okay, so again, Tierney is settled, Shore is there, Laughton's traded, Connor Brown and DeBrusk are covered. So on the fourth line, you had Emile Poirier, decent physical player, still has room to improve. You have Nikita Soshnikov, who is slightly worse defensively, slightly better stick checking, and physical category is about the same. Poirier is a better skater, so I'm going to say Soshnikov is out. Sosh is out. Riley Barber is out. Tried to give him the chance to improve. So it comes down to Poirier, Bertuzzi, and Shore. And I'm going to keep Shore there, so it comes down to Poirier or Bertuzzi. And again, Bertuzzi defensively, it's just not quite where I want it to be. And I don't think it's going to get there. So Tyler Bertuzzi is also on his way out, which would probably mean that Emile Poirier is there. Now, there are guys down in the AHL listed as fourth liners. There's Nick Kerdiles, who, I mean, man, he's a really good skater, decent offensively. We have Kosarenkov, we have Justin Bailey, who, just defensively, it's not there. He's more of a third line guy, but he's not quite as good as the players we have on the third line as options. Max Jones and then Taylor Lear, who is decent defensively. So I'd say it comes down to Lear, Kerdiles, and then from there, am I allowed to send down, say, Bertuzzi and Barber, and maybe even Soshnikov? No, how about just the first two? Okay, I can at least do that. Because I want to look at Poirier, Kerdiles, and Lear. Mainly Poirier and Kerdiles, because again, I think Nick Shore just has a spot on this team. He's a really good fourth liner, if we play him on the fourth line, which we will. So, who gets that fourth line left wing spot? Kerdiles or Poirier? Offensively, they're about the same. 1 point better deking for Poirier. Offensive awareness is the same. Defensively goes to Kerdiles. The shots about even. Skating is about even. I think it goes to Kerdiles. Just barely. He's better defensively. They're the same potential. Poirier's 1 year younger. So that's the question. And Poirier cost more. So the question is, do I trust that Emile Poirier will improve? I don't know if I do. And then Lear's not bad, but he's definitely out. He is definitely out. So it comes down to Poirier or Nick Kerdiles on the fourth line. It might come down to value, but what I'm leaning towards right now is keeping Kerdiles. So what will happen, right? Here's what will happen. If we sign, and you know what? I can't set up the team properly. But if we sign, basically what it comes down to is if we sign David Pastrnak, Connor Brown gets traded. I think that's what it comes down to. Especially with how much money he's making. He's a bit too good offensively to put on the fourth line. But at that point on the third line, we have Tierney and we have Kosarenkov. So it would be Jake DeBrusk that gets dropped down to the third line with them. Dadonov will get dropped down to the second line, and then you put Pastrnak on the top line. So, I didn't mean to do that, but hey, now you know I'm a freaking maniac that records at nearly 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think that's what it would be. Connor Brown's spot hinges on whether or not we sign David Pastrnak. But in the meantime, I do have that list of players that I want to get rid of offensively. And that's just for the NHL. We still have to figure out the AHL. But before we do that, I do need to, as Nolan Patrick lost morale for being stripped of his captaincy, apparently. That's weird. Whatever. I don't care. It made Nick Krediles the captain. Neat. Let's clear out the surplus really quick. I need Joe Morrow to sign before I can start setting up the lines the way I want to and before I can start moving out players. And to be honest, God damn it, if I could go back down. To be honest, we're probably going to have to sign one more player as well to one of those deals. And of course, they'll just play down in the minors. But yeah, it's looking a little bit rough. And they won't even play down in the minors. They'll be scratched. They'll be a healthy scratch. We'll have no choice. Because again, the AHL forward core is going to change a lot as well. So let's set up the scouting. And that's the question, is where do we focus? Do we focus on the European leagues? And to be honest, I think we're going to start over here in North America. We're going to take the risk. We're going to start over here. I think I'm going to go just, honestly, 2 weeks doesn't tell you much. The only way you know for sure how good somebody is if their exact potential. Because you can have someone scouted, literally this happened on stream, and if you were there or if you've watched the stream since, you know this has happened. We scouted a player, I want to say 13 to 17 times. He was showing up as high elite, yet when we drafted him, he was low top 9. So the only way you can guarantee that a player is that potential is if they show up as exact. And the only way to get consistent exacts is to scout for 6 weeks, basically. So that's what I'm going to do. In every CHL league, forwards and defenders, 6 weeks each. It is the only way to know for sure. Which means for the European leagues, it's just a lot of hopeful, wishful thinking and guesses. That's what it's going to be. That's what it has to be. Let's see what happens here. If Joe Morrow will hurry up and answer. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate it. Welcome aboard. So let's get this team set up again. So let's see. Goaltending is good. Defense, we need to call up Morrow. He'll play this year. Again, there's no way he'll be traded. And then forwards, Kosarenkov and Max Jones were the two that needed to be called up. And we can send down Lear and Soshnikov. So we're looking all right. It's just we have 2 more players than we really need. And that's because I'll send down Lawton. And then, again, Poirier or Krediles. I'm going to go with Krediles. I'm going to go with Krediles. Unless Poirier has more trade value, that's the only thing that could save him right now. So before I make those trades, I want to show you guys what the lines are going to look like and then tell you why I'm saying that, Connor Brown's time here, is basically up to whether or not we get Pastrnak. So Nolan Patrick, his face-offs still haven't gone up, but whatever. What we'll do is we'll play Panarin and Sprong there. That's fine. The second line is going to be DeBrusk, Burakovsky, Dadonov. Third line is going to be Kosarenkov, Tierney, and Brown. Fourth line of Shore, and actually Krediles is a better center. So Jones, Krediles, and Shore. So if we end up signing Pastrnak, Kosarenkov moves over, DeBrusk moves down, Dadonov moves over, Sprong moves down to the second line, and the top line will be Panarin, Patrick, and Pastrnak. You get it? Otherwise, this will be the team this season if we don't sign David Pastrnak, which I'm all right with. I mean, you could argue, too, maybe even putting Dadonov on the top line right now, too. It's kind of irrelevant. But at the very least, DeBrusk, Burakovsky, Sprong, really hoping for big things from them. Kosarenkov, Tierney, Brown. I mean, Kosarenkov, we'll see what he can do. Tierney's solid defensively. Brown's a good two-way player as well. And then that fourth line I really like. Defensively and physically, they're doing all right. I mean, it's more physical from Max Jones, but medium top six potential. We have to play him in the NHL this year. And then, of course, defensively, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's not great. I mean, Brodin's pretty much capped out. Carlson might be able to improve. Can you hear my neighbor sneezing through the wall like I can? Is that picking up on the microphone? Holy shit. Those sinuses, let me tell you. We got Ville Poker, Ryan Pulock. Basically, can these players improve? Probably not at this point. I mean, we're really relying on our AHL defense and those players improving for the future. But now that we have that sorted out, the NHL offense is set. It's just whether or not you guys think we should go for David Pastrnak. I'll give you one more attempt to, convince me one way or another now that you've seen what this team looks like. But let's go ahead. We got some players to trade. So, who's it going to be? Lear, I'm sorry, buddy, you got to go. Riley Barber has to go. Bailey, Bertuzzi. And we'll just select those four to start. And to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be able to trade them all at once. No, the cap situation for a lot of teams isn't great. So, this is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but we got to do what we got to do. Can I send Lear to Anaheim? Probably not. I should be able to send them to Boston, though. Reunite him with the Bruins. I still can't believe they signed Chuck Kobasu. Can I get a third-round pick for him? Will that go through? No, it won't, but I'm okay with that. How about a fourth and a sixth for Taylor Lear? Still no. Just a fourth? Still no. Okay. Again, anytime they decline, I'm actually really happy. The less higher picks we can really get, the better. So, we're looking at a sixth or a seventh round pick at best here. Let's try a sixth. All right, so Taylor, I'm sorry, buddy. You are gone, and you didn't really go for much. I don't know why I'd have to go best roster. The team is fine. I should have to just edit the lines. That's it. But whatever. It is what it is. And, of course, I'll get you a look at the full draft pick situation in a moment because, again, the AHL squad still has to change. We're not done yet. So, Riley Barber. Looks like he might have been able to make it, but he is just going to run out of time. Carolina looks to be his destination. Can we get a fourth round pick for him? No. Can we get a fifth and a seventh? That's always the next combination that I'll try. How about just the fifth? Might be able to get another sixth round pick for him, so, I mean, not tremendous. Indeed, we did. We got another sixth round pick for him. We'll just go past roster, whatever. Screw it. It's preseason, so it literally doesn't matter. It's not like I can lose anybody to waivers. Again, it named Krediles the captain. So Bailey is the next guy that has to go. To be honest, I could send him to Carolina too. And yes, it is funny that I'm trading with Carolina, all things considered. There should have been a rule against that. Can I get a fifth rounder for Bailey? To be honest, I probably could have gotten more, but I'm okay with it. We just had to get rid of him. It is what it is. I might have been able to swing a fourth round pick out of that. My team's going to be crippled morale-wise because of what the game's doing to me right now. Tyler Bertuzzi needs to go. So again, Barber's gone. Bailey is gone. Tyler Bertuzzi. Let's try to send him to Colorado. See if that works out. Can I get a fourth round pick for him? No. That's what I thought I'd be able to get for Bailey. So I guess if a fifth and a seventh works, then we know I missed out on a seventh. All right, just a fifth? Damn, Tyler Bertuzzi, no value. I know they don't want to trade for him, but still. Just a sixth rounder? Thank you very much. Works for me. I really need to stop going best roster because it's really going to screw me over morale-wise. Scott Lawton and Nikita Soshnikov are the next two that need to be traded. Krediles and Poirier, they're about even in value. So, Poirier is going to go, Soshnikov and Lawton as well. Let's see if we can trade Soshnikov next. We'll try to send him to the Dallas Stars. See if I can get a fourth round pick for him. Probably not. Let's see if I can get a fifth rounder for him. Probably not is my guess. No, it went through. Okay, cool. I can't believe we did the trade. We won this. It's like, did you? Did you really? I don't think you did. I don't think you did. Emile Poirier, I'm sorry. I know you have a lot of support, but I'm choosing my guy. I'm going with Kerdiles. And at the very least, too, Kerdiles is only on a 1-year deal. So that is helpful in case we decide to get rid of him. As it is, we're only going to be able to probably get like a 5th-round pick for Poirier here. Yeah, so that's all good. It's all good. Scott Laughton is the last man that needs to be traded. And then the NHL forwards are good to go. So let's see, where can we send him? Anybody with space? Of course, he actually does have a bit of a cap hit. I need to make this work. I'm just going to try to trade him wherever the hell I can. Because I need this to work. Can we send him to Anaheim for, say, a 3rd rounder? Actually, value-wise. How about a 3rd and a 4th? Just to play it safe. Will that go through? Value's too far off. How about a 3rd and a 6th? Will that work? Value's just a bit low. I'll try a 3rd and a 7th. And we'll see if that works. And there we go. Even though they're struggling with cap space, Scott Laughton is off to Anaheim. So we are almost done here, guys. Believe it or not, I knew it would be a marathon episode. I should have warned you because I knew before I started recording, I'm like, we have a lot of work to do with this team. But right now, the main thing is figuring out what the hell we're going to do with the AHL squad. So we will go best lines. Hopefully it doesn't sign anybody for me. I don't think it did, no, because it has Vishnevsky there. Okay, so at the moment, we can actually back out. We have 42 contracts. Thank God I signed that extra defenseman. And we'll see who we currently have unsigned. Again, as far as making the Connecticut Whale good, I'm not really too worried about it. Although, I might have to sign another veteran, like I mentioned. But who do we have for unsigned forwards? Potential-wise, oh yeah, that's right. Alright, so we start off with Bulis. Radek Bulis. And here, again, I'll keep a depth chart. We'll sign him up. No doubt. Sereda was American. I don't think he was CHL. So we'll sign him up as well. Medium top 6 for Devin Beckett. He was American. So let me mark his name down on this little depth chart here. Low top 6 in Popovich, Canadian, so we're not going to sign him. Medium top 9 in Grabeshkov and Lokhtianov, and they're both eligible immediately. So let's go to in the system. Alright, so let's see. We have Andrews. That is a guaranteed spot for him. We have Bodens, who we signed as a free agent. We have good old Dirksen. Gotta love Dirksen. We have Sereda. We have Taylor Radish. Can't forget about him. Beckett, Nando Eggenberger. Good old Nando. So that's 8 players in total so far. The other Popovich, who's already signed, he was actually, no, wait, never mind. The other Popovich. The same Popovich. What am I saying? We have Vorobiev. The other Popovich. It's obviously the same one. He's unsigned. Vorobiev, not Vorobiev. Who else do we have signed? Let's see. We have Olsen. We have Lauko. Lilia. All right, so that is 12. And we have 2 to 3 extra spots. We have Haberstich. All right. Jonathan Davidson. So already you can tell we're going to have to make a move or two. So that right there, the players we have signed right now, that would be good enough to just be like, okay, we're good to go. Haberstich is going to stay. Davidson might be traded here because I would like to sign Grabeshkov and Lokhtianov. So let's go ahead and do just that. So we have Grabeshkov. Again, just writing down the names. And Lokhtianov. I'm telling you guys, easier way to do it, man. Just write down a depth chart on a piece of paper in front of you, and you're good to go. So, I need to get rid of at least 1 player, maybe 2. And when we were looking at the trade values, Jonathan Davidson's was the lowest. He was a 7th round pick in that first draft for us. He also is the only medium bottom 6 player currently signed. We also have the low top 9, so I could keep the... I'll keep the low top 9s. That's the question. Davidson's a 67, or I get rid of Lauko and Lilia, who are low top 9s and a little bit worse. Jakub Lauko was a 3rd-round pick. Lilia was a 4th-round pick. All right, so Lauko, Lilia, Davidson. 2 out of 3. I would say have gots to go. I would say they gotta go. And then we're pretty much good, to be honest. We're pretty much good. I'm really liking the looks already. Of course, I haven't seen the lines for the AHL team, but with the NHL team, I'm happy. Even if we sign David Pastrnak. Again, if we don't, I'll probably sign another veteran. Hopefully, actually, the NHL team's already good. The NHL team's already good, so we don't have to worry about call-ups and send-downs. So again, Davidson's value is the lowest, but it looks to be about even with Lauko and Lilia. And then, of course, Haberstich is down there too, but he does have high bottom 6 potential. I think I'm going to go with Lauko and Lilia, to be honest. I'm going to keep Davidson just because of his overall. He is 9 points better than Lauko. He is 3 years older, but I don't think Lauko or Lilia are really going to make it, all things considered. So that'll leave us with 2 depth forwards in case of injury. So where can I send these to? How about to Winnipeg, who ended up drafting Kirby Datch, who, again, EA just completely screwed over with absolutely no potential whatsoever. 3rd-round pick won't go through. I know they don't want the players, but still, they don't have that much value to begin with. 4th and a 6th. Still no. All right, let's find a team that actually wants them. St. Louis. Perfect. Not that I like trading with St. Louis, because I don't. They're a pain in the ass to deal with. They are a pain in the ass to deal with. How about a 4th, 5th, and a 6th next year for that group of players? Still no. Fine, whatever. I'll only send you one of them. 4th and a 5th? Just a 4th. Again, St. Louis is always a pain in the ass to deal with. How about a 5th and a 7th? There we go. All right, so Lauko is gone. We just need to trade Lilia, and then we are good to go. We'll set up the lines. The last thing we'll look at will be the current draft pick situation, because that, of course, will change if we go after Pastrnak. Let's see here. How about a 4th and a 6th for Lilia? No. How about just a 4th? All right, so we'll try the same 5th and a 7th deal. Now, again, we are going to have a lot of picks, so we are going to be able to move up a little bit in the upcoming draft. So we'll go to roster moves. And let's take a look at the completed product, essentially. So in the AHL, we got to take out Kravchenko and put in Allen as the backup. That's the only difficult situation. But Mikanov is there, medium elite at 20 years old. On defense, we are pretty much good to go. Boyer is scratched, as he should be, but Ekholm is as well. So who is the weakest guy potential-wise? It's one of these 2 low top 4s. It's going to have to be Vishnevsky, who we just signed, and we'll bring in Ekholm. Now, the question is, what do we do as far as, do we trust player roles, or do we put people over, do we go by potentials, or do we go by overalls? And I think to start the season, I'm probably just going to go, well, actually, maybe have Liljegren, Crosby, McIntyre. So Valimaki, Liljegren, Ekholm, Crosby, Khudobin, McIntyre. I like the look of that. Although you could argue even having McIntyre up there because he's low elite. You know what? That looks good. That looks good. And then at least our top pairing is just filthy as far as prospects go. And then our scratched forwards include Sereda and Bulis. That needs to change. So I kept Jonathan Davidson because of the overall, but no doubt he's going to be scratched, which is a bit of a shame. It's him or it's Grabeshkov. And actually, it might be worth scratching Grabeshkov instead to keep this team somewhat competitive. Grabeshkov and Loktionov. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. So we'll put in Bulis and Sereda because, they're both 53s. again, different ways we could approach this. This is just set up. If you think I should make a change, let me know. But for the most part, we're still going to look to go overall-wise, I think. Especially for the forwards. So let's see, we got the 2 elite players there. So the 4th line is shaping up to be Eggenberger, Vorobiev, Beckett. 3rd line will be... Who's the best center? They're all pretty much the same. So we'll have Sereda, Andrews, Boulis. 2nd line will be... Can either of these guys play center? Haberstich can. Well, there you go. 1st line will be Dirksen, Haberstich, Radish. 2nd line of Bodens, Olsen, and Davidson. So, as far as competitiveness goes, no. But potential? Absolutely. We got low elites. We got a bunch of medium top 6s. I mean, we got a medium elite in Boulis. So, I'm liking the looks of the team. Are the Connecticut Whale going to be a good hockey team? No. They are going to be abysmal. But the future, the promise that comes from this team is unreal. And then, of course, the NHL level again. Unfortunately, it did go best line. So let me resort this back out to give you guys one more look at what we are working with here. So the top line for now will be Panarin, Patrick, Dadonov, DeBrusk, Burakovsky, Sprong, Kosarenkov, Tierney, Brown, Jones, Kurdiles, and Shore. Again, we need to see what we have in Ivan Kosarenkov. Again, if we sign David Pastrnak, we trade Connor Brown, DeBrusk drops to the 3rd line, Dadonov drops to the 2nd line. Pasta plays on that top line. And then defensively, we do have 2 righties, and we'll play Nesterov on that side as well. So we'll have Brodin, Polka, Carlson, Pulak, Morrow, and Nesterov. Of course, the goaltending, looking pretty good with Korpisalo and Malcolm Subban. So do we have a playoff team here? No. No, we really don't. we really don't. Actually, here, I can put Dadonov on that side. Why the hell not? Some people are going to say, lefties and righties don't matter. Okay, so if it doesn't matter, why are you complaining, man? Anyway, we are still very much rebuilding. Despite the signing of Artemi Panarin, we are still very much rebuilding. That status is very appropriate. As far as draft picks go, like I said, we probably have too many. Again, I don't have a set number on how many picks can crash the draft. Once you get to like 16, 17, 18, I start to get nervous. If you have 20 picks or more, I'd be shocked if it doesn't crash on you. So we are going to have to make trades. But right now, we have a 1st, 2 seconds, and 4 third-round picks. So keep in mind, we would have to give up our 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd for Pastrnak. Odds are, and if you ask me, I think the best choice, guys, might be to just hold off. I know that David Pastrnak, like I was saying, the argument is that are we going to get somebody better than Pastrnak with that pick? I don't know if we will. And we could easily trade Artemi Panarin and probably recover a 1st, 2nd, and a 3rd. That's why I want to leave it up to you guys. There are so many options. Get Pastrnak, trade Panarin at the deadline. Don't get Pastrnak, trade Panarin at the deadline anyway. Keep Artemi Panarin, because we're already going to have quite a few draft picks. I want to know from you guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. Before the moment, this team is set, and we are ready to go for the next season. The Hartford Whalers rebuild. It's still very much a rebuild, but we're getting there. We have some young players in the lineup. The AHL team, it's incredible. They're terrible. It's bad. But again, the potential's there. The amount of promise that team has, in the individual players, it's looking good. So again, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the what your thoughts are on the decisions we have to make, but also what you thought of the episode, as we are done here, in case you couldn't figure that out. But I will say, if you want to support the video that much further, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, the links to my Twitter and Twitch are in the description. Give me a follow on Twitter for updates and other random stuff, notifications as to when I'm going live on Twitch. And on Twitch, you can also follow as well. The road to 5K followers. We're getting there. And it's pretty damn sick. As well, yesterday on the channel, I put up a video, a co-op version of the NHL 3 circuit with my buddy, the Crease Police. If you haven't checked out that video, please just give it a shot. It's about 15, 16 minutes. I had a lot of fun with that video. I had a lot of fun with the editing. Just give it a shot. Let me know, genuinely. Let me know down in the comments if you just don't like the video. Let me know. Because I want that to be a series, but of course, when you're talking about trying to balance YouTube and Twitch, the only stuff I'm really going to put up on YouTube is what I know is going to do well, but I want to try different things, of course, within NHL, different games, whatever. FIFA 18's coming out. You might be seeing me attempt a career mode on FIFA, which might not be for everybody, but I'd have lower expectations for that than I would for NHL 3s. But I'm going to stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I will catch you guys later. Have a good one. Take it easy. See you later. Sayonara. Goodbye. Yeah.